Hi there, hope you are doing fine. This is Philip Kauma, the excellent biology tutor. In this tutorial video, we are looking at cell division, and this is the introduction to this subtopic of genetics. Without wasting much of your precious time, let us begin. The objectives of this tutorial video are: we're going to look at the definition of cell division, then we're going to look at the introduction to the two types of cell division, which is mitosis and meiosis. All right, let us begin with the definition. So nuclear division or cell division is the process by which new cells, known as daughter cells, are formed from existing cells known as parent cells. So nuclear division is the other term for cell division. It's just the same thing, okay? If we say cell division or nuclear division, it is the same thing. Otherwise, cell division is a process by which new cells are formed from already existing cells. So the new cells that are formed are known as daughter cells, and the cells that are dividing to form the new cells are known as parent cells or mother cells. Okay, that's the definition of nuclear division or cell division. Now, there are two types of nuclear division, namely mitosis and meiosis. All right, so now, before we even look at the two types, what we need to know is that living organisms, for example, human beings, we are made up of two types of cells, okay? We are made up of two types of cells. The first type of cells are known as body cells, also known as somatic cells, and the other type of cells are known as gametes, also known as sex cells. So these are two cells, okay? Body cells and gametes. Inside these body cells and gametes, we are going to find a nucleus. And we all know the function of the nucleus. It controls cell activities, right? It also contains genetic information or genetic materials. These genetic materials are the chromosomes. We did this when we were looking at the introduction of genetics. These genetic information or genetic materials are the chromosomes. Now, the number of chromosomes in a body cell is different from the number of chromosomes in a gamete. The number of chromosomes in a body cell is known as diploid number. So if I say body cell or somatic cell, it's just the same type of cell. Why? If I say gametes or sex cells, it is the same type of cells. Okay. So what we're saying here is that the number of chromosomes in a body cell is known as diploid number. And the number of chromosomes in a gamete, it is known as haploid number. So I'll use a marker here to just differentiate the two types of cells. So we've got a body cell, also known as a somatic cell, and we've got a sex cell, also known as a gamete. These two cells, they contain a nucleus. And inside that nucleus, we're going to find chromosomes. But the difference is that the number of chromosomes in a body cell is diploid number, and the number of chromosomes in a gamete or sex cell is haploid number. What does that mean? Well, diploid number is the full number of chromosomes in a cell. And then haploid number is half the number of chromosomes in a cell. So if the full number of chromosomes is 4, then the haploid number will be what? 2. Are you following? So if the diploid number is 4, which is the full number of chromosomes, then the haploid number will be 2, which is half the number of chromosomes. So for human beings, our body cells, they have 46 chromosomes, while our sex cells, they have 23 chromosomes. Therefore, in the body cell of a human being, we're going to find 46, and then in a sex cell of a human being, we're going to find 23 chromosomes. So 46 is the diploid number, 23 is the haploid number. So the diploid number is denoted by 2n. 2n, it is more like a symbol to represent diploid number. And then n is used to represent haploid number. So if you see a caseco and a 2N, just know that this is a somatic cell because it contains diploid number, full number of chromosomes. And then if you see a Ka-N, just know that this is a gamete because it contains half the number of chromosomes. Now, why am I telling you this? I am telling you this because of what we're going to look at next. Otherwise, know that living organisms are made up of two sets of cells or two types of cells. Body cells, also known as somatic cells, as well as gametes, also known as sex cells. The difference between these two types of cells are the number of chromosomes. Okay, the number of chromosomes in a body cell are known as diploid number, or is known as diploid number, and then the number of chromosomes in a gamete is known as haploid number. Diploid number is the full number of chromosomes. Haploid number is the half number of chromosomes. Okay, and in human beings, the diploid number in a body cell or somatic cell is 46, while the haploid number in a gamete is 23. So for a man, a gamete is a sperm cell. For a woman, a gamete is an ovum. All right, I hope we are clear with the types of cells. Otherwise, what we should take from this slide is that cell division is a type of cell division is a process by which new cells known as daughter cells are formed from existing cells known as parent cells or mother cells. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, let's look at the two types of cells, starting with mitosis. So, mitosis. What is mitosis? This is a type of cell division that results in the formation of two daughter cells that are diploid and genetically identical from one diploid parent. So they are saying that it is a process where how many? Two. So in this case, two new cells are formed. Two new daughter cells are formed from one existing parent cell. And these two new cells that are formed, they are genetically identical with the parent cell. And these two new cells, they contain the full number of chromosomes, which is diploid number. Are you following? So under mitosis, we are seeing the formation of two new cells. And these two new cells, they are genetically identical with the parent cell. Now, this type of cell division occurs in body cells or somatic cells. For example, when you cut your hair, it grows back, isn't it? That hair grows by the process of mitosis because the hair cells are dividing, forming new cells. Okay, so that is why you see that when you cut your hair, the new hair which is going to come up, which is going to grow, it is the same as the previous hair that was there. So if you were to dye your hair red, okay, and I see you, one of you are dyeing up. As you are watching this video, I'm sure you've got dyed hair. When you dye your hair, it will grow back, isn't it? The new hair that is going to come up, it won't be of that color. It will be of the original color, which is black, because that's the genetic information in the cells of that hair. Another example I can give is how we grow. Okay, we were babies at some point, but now we've grown, isn't it? Even in height has increased because the bone cells are dividing. They are dividing by the process of what? Mitosis. Even plants, you find that they will grow. Okay, from a seed, you will find that it is now a big tree. It grows by the process of mitosis because new cells are formed, and these new cells under mitosis are two. Only two new cells are formed from already existing cells. So keep that in mind. And the new cells that are formed, they are genetically identical to the parent cell, and they contain diploid number of chromosomes. Okay, so they are diploids. Okay, so here's a diagrammatic representation of what we're talking about. As you can see, a single cell, okay, with a 2N inside representing that, oh, it has got diploid number of chromosomes. It is dividing into two new cells. And these new cells, they are the same with the parent cell, isn't it? So the two new cells, they are genetically identical, and they are diploid daughter cells. Okay, And then so these two new cells, they are coming from one cell. This one cell, it is dividing into two new cells, as you can see. And they are the same. The genetic information is the same. The number of chromosomes is the same. Okay? There's no difference between these new cells and the parent cell. So I hope we are following. And by the way, when you look at this, don't think a cell is giving birth to two cells. AI, a cell is dividing. It is dividing. From one, it will divide, and then we're going to have two. So when it divides, doesn't mean that we now have three. No. New two cells are going to be formed from one cell because that cell would divide. Okay, it will divide. And you're going to learn the process of division because the process of division occurs in phases, of which we're going to learn about that. All right. But know that a parent cell, it will divide. Okay, it will divide. It won't give birth to two new cells. It will divide. Take that. Take that. So what we should pick up from this slide is that mitosis is a type of cell division where a parent cell divides into two new daughter cells that are genetically identical with the parent cell. Okay, and they contain the full number of chromosomes, which is known as diploid number. All right, let us move on to the importance of mitosis. Why is mitosis important? So number one, mitosis is important for growth. Like I said, we were babies at some point, but we've grown. Height has increased. A lot of things have changed. Okay, you find that as a boy, you didn't have beards, but now you've got beards. How is that beard coming about? Mitosis. Hair is growing, isn't it? Your beard is growing. Any growth that occurs in your body is as a result of cells dividing by the process of mitosis. Remember, mitosis occurs in body cells, also known as somatic cells. So if we're talking about body cells, my students, we're simply talking about things like skin cells, hair cells, bone cells, muscle cells, blood cells, tissue cells. All those are cells that are referred to as body cells or somatic cells. So when they are increasing in number, they are increasing by the process of mitosis. Hope we are clear. So mitosis is important for growth. Not only in animals, but also in plants. Like I said, when you plant a seed, it will grow, it will germinate. After germination, we're going to see that there will be an increase in size. And that increase, it is as a result of mitosis. Okay. The other reason why mitosis is important is that regeneration. So when you cut your hair, it will regenerate, isn't it? New hair will grow. Why? Because the cells are going to be dividing, and they'll be dividing by the process of what? Mitosis. So regeneration of new cells, it is done by the process of mitosis. Nothing much to say here. Asexual reproduction. Mitosis is important for asexual reproduction. Remember, we did reproduction, right? Asexual reproduction does not require two organisms to mate for them to have an offspring. Only one parent is required in the process of asexual reproduction, because this process of asexual reproduction occurs by the process of mitosis. And an example of asexual reproduction is binary fission in amoeba. So there's no need for two parents to have sexual intercourse to have an offspring. That offspring will just result from one parent, and that offspring will be as a result of mitosis. Okay, so asexual reproduction. Mitosis is important for asexual reproduction. Maintenance of genetic stability. Like I said, when you cut your hair, right, the new hair that is going to grow, it will be of the same color, isn't it? It will still be black. So if you dye your hair blue, you find that the new hair that will be growing, it won't be blue. It will be black. It will still be black. That is maintaining the genetic information. So there's genetic stability there, which is being maintained. Okay, the new hair that is going to grow won't be of another color. It will still be black. Olongati mwazichita mwazishoka. Spazabwera skin ya muzungu, it will still be of a black person if you're a black person. If you're a white person, it will still be of a white person. Ukazichita sipangabwere skini inango. No. That is maintaining genetic stability. Are you following, my excellent students? Hope you're following. So if you're enjoying this video, leave a like, leave a comment for your sir. I'll be happy to read your comments. All right. Replacement of cells. Mitosis is important for what? Replacement of cells. So if you cut yourself, there'll be some cells that are going to be displaced. There'll be damaged cells. Those damaged cells will have to be replaced. Okay, so if you've got a wound, you've cut yourself, okay, you've been injured, there are some cells that have been displaced there, and they have to be what? Replaced. They are going to be replaced by the process of mitosis. Okay, so the cells that are already there that are remaining, they will start dividing, forming two new cells. The two new cells will also divide, and then we're going to have 4. The 4 new cells will divide, then we're going to have 8, because each cell is bringing 2. Okay, so it's like the number will be going double. Okay, from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 32 to 64, 64 to what? 128. If you could 128. So I don't know what comes after. But what you need to know is that the new cells, the damaged cells, are going to be replaced by the new cells through the process of mitosis. All right. So those are the reasons why mitosis is important. Let's look at meiosis, though we already have a diagram there. So what is meiosis? This is a type of cell division where one diploid parent cell produces 4 daughter cells that are haploid and genetically different from the parent cell. In this case, we are seeing that one diploid parent cell is divided into 4 new daughter cells. And these 4 new daughter cells, they are genetically different from the parent cell. Okay? Even the number of chromosomes is different. In this case, the 4 new cells have got half the number of chromosomes, which is referred to as haploid. Are you following? So, what we are seeing here is the formation of gametes. Because remember, I said gametes, they've got half the number of chromosomes. Okay, so gametes come from diploid cells. In other words, gametes or sex cells, they come from body cells. Okay, so a body cell, it is going to divide, forming 4 new cells. And these 4 new cells, they are genetically different from this body cell. Remember, a body cell has got a full number of chromosomes, right? It's a diploid cell. So this cell, which has got full number of chromosomes, it will divide into 4 new cells that are going to have half the number of chromosomes. So the conclusion here can be that a body cell forms sex cells. That is why we're saying that a diploid parent cell, okay, produces 4 daughter cells that are haploid, meaning they contain half the number. And these 4 new cells, they are genetically different from the parent cell. There's a difference now. They are genetically different. Now, there are 2 divisions that take place during meiosis. In other words, we can say there are 2 stages. As a cell is dividing from one cell to 4, that process occurs in 2 stages. Okay, these are meiosis 1 or first meiotic division, which is stage 1, and meiosis 2 or second meiotic division, which is stage 2. So the process of meiosis occurs in 2 stages. Each of the 2 divisions is made of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. So that is what we're seeing there. One diploid mother cell or parent cell divides into how many? Into 4. And the 4 haploid are genetically different from the parent cell. That is meiosis, my excellent students. That is meiosis. So it's different from mitosis. Under mitosis, we are saying that two new cells are formed, and these new cells, they are genetically what? The same with the parent cells. But under meiosis, four new cells are formed, which are genetically different from the parent cell. All right, let's look at the importance. Why is meiosis important? Number one, formation of gametes, which are sex cells, because we are seeing that the four new cells that are being formed, they've got half the number of chromosomes. They are haploid cells. Okay, in other words, they are gametes, because gametes are the cells that contain half the number of chromosomes. Okay, so meiosis leads to the formation of sex cells or gametes. And then it contributes to genetic variation due to crossing over and random assortment of chromosomes. So when we look at the stages of meiosis, you're going to notice that under one phase, because each stage has got phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Okay, so if you under one phase, there'll be crossing of the chromosomes, which leads to variation. As we know, variation, these are differences amongst living organisms of the same species, isn't it? You'll find that a family consists of a mother, a father, and children, isn't it? But the children won't be identical, all of them. No, there will be differences there amongst the children, even though they are coming from the same two parents. Why? Because of the crossing that occurs in a phase that I'm going to talk about later on. So meiosis leads to the variations that we see, the differences amongst siblings. Because in meiosis, there's a phase where chromosomes are going to cross, which will lead to the differences in terms of characteristics and features, even though these people, they are coming from two same parents. All right, my excellent biology students, we're going to end here for this tutorial video. I hope you've learned something. In tomorrow's tutorial video, we're going to look at the stages or the phases of both mitosis and meiosis. Ensure that you watch this video at least 3 times for you to understand and not to forget. This is Philip Kawama, the excellent biologist tutor. Ensure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so. I will appreciate, and leave a comment for yourself. I'm always happy to read your comments. All right, stay blessed.